Follow me. I wanted to come on here today and talk to you about comparison, life transitions, and why you'd want to be connected to divinity and soul through them, and how it guides you on autopilot eventually. Let's get into it. So if you found my channel, welcome. Remember that you are beautiful, you are amazing, and this video is a confirmation that you are on purpose and in the right place. If I talk fast, it's to bypass your mind and directly access your soul's listening. And I want you to trust in your soul, in your higher self ability to understand past your mind and to remember what's needed as you need it. So grab a blanket, a cozy, healthy beverage, your journal, and set up on your meditation mat. Let's begin with a prayer. Beloved Creator, may I always be protected from evils. May my ego come in service to my spirit. May I always be connected to divine truth. May I listen with my spirit and hear with my heart, absorbing love and what is of my highest good. May I activate the miracles and blessings meant for me as I walk my golden path, in full faith, with grace and ease. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I made notes today because it was channeling through. I am definitely a writer. That is one of my channels. So it is the January 1st, 11th portal. All my messages are timeless. They have esoteric meanings and activations behind it. I'm a high priestess. I'm an Akashic records keeper. I'm a healer. I do a lot of quantum energetics, and I work with starseeds, earth angels, and you can see more activations on my other channel, on my sister channel, 13 Moons Oracle. But any frequency, any channel this way will also activate these things within you, or they'll help awakening like a memory set within you as well, because you didn't find me by accident. We had past lives together. Something in my frequency is a beacon to help as many souls as I can wake up, and it called you here, so trust that. Now, this weekend, I had to make up a yoga teacher training weekend from last year. I took my 300-hour, it was a lesson in itself. It was kind of, for me, a sign that I didn't actually need any more schooling or training, and it was a lesson about limitations, and it was a lesson about believing in myself, the confidence in my teachings, what I've learned, what I was already practicing, and the way that Creator was leading me. Now, had I done this weekend last year, I don't think I would have been able to appreciate it as much. And it was divinely timed because I was having, after like years of loving yoga, I've been doing yoga since I was 15 years old. After years of loving yoga, I was having this, after graduating, like the official grad with the class, in May, I was having a really hard time with yoga. And some of that was the collective energies that have been transmuting on the planet for the last while. Some of that is my twin flame journey, because I have a very strong alignment with my twin flame. We have known each other since we were children, and the processing of that, the timeline that we're on, that we're both healing, is extremely intense, and it is extremely challenging. And so some of the coming off yoga was part of that. I am also guided by Creator. I'm so surrendered to divinity that I'm guided by Creator to be brought to the dark places. So I'm brought into a lot of infrastructures within the 3D world and matrix system, so that I can anchor a frequency of uniqueness. Sometimes that's triggering to people, and sometimes just having surrendered so much to soul living and soul alignment and to divinity, something will come through me that is meant for the people in front of me, that is meant to align with a frequency, that is meant to shake up the structure in there. And I have trusted that all along on my whole path. And in doing so, that has helped me heal as well. That has helped me overcome family generational patterns. It's helped me overcome karmic patterns, cellular trauma looping. It has helped me in the true meaning of repent with other souls that we had bad blood, bad karma between us from other lives. There's just been numerous benefits, even when it doesn't always make sense, even when it looks like chaos, even when it looks like trauma or hardship, and it has not been easy. I have not had an easy path, but because I stayed so devoted to it, and I stay so devoted to divinity and doing what divinity guided and asked me to do, it has brought me to this really beautiful place of harmony that I have now entered. And it has shifted timelines, and I have cleaned up so much of my frequency from this that it was worth it. It was just a really beautiful place to be. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is that if you found this channel, you're an ancient soul, you're an old soul, you've been here for a long time, and you're probably feeling some of what I'm saying. And a lot of what I'm talking about, I'm saying it very lightly here, but it was very heavy. I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. I have had extreme hard lives. I heard a saying the other day that was so perfect. It was like, you don't know how much violence it took for me to be this gentle. And so that literally is the epitome of my life. And the things that I went through in childhood actually have helped me so much to be a healer now, because all of the things that I went through in childhood with my current family and in this current incarnation, I believed was from the temptations and the corruptions in society, really breaking down the family energetics. And now that I came through those at a young age, and my adulthood, I have been able to help thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people with going through that and meeting it with divinity. Now, when we're aligned with divinity, when we're committed to soul living, when we're committed to praying about things, asking for divine guidance, sitting with them in a meditative state, or maybe with another healer, or maybe with a spirit team, we actually start to have this alignment with life where everything is happening for you and everything becomes sacred and good. Everything becomes for your better and best unfoldment. So even when I'm having a challenge now, it's almost a good thing, because I'm excited, because I know on the other side of that, I'm going to have some sort of up leveling, some skill come through, some beautiful gifts, some blessing, some life change that's going to be amazing. And the bigger the challenge, the bigger the blessing. And it sounds cliche maybe, but it's so true. I'm literally living it. And I don't think I would have believed it until I actually started living it, because I'd heard it all the time before. Now, that being said, sometimes we still fight things, right? And then also we compare ourselves to others. We seek external validation. We have been trained to put our senses on the external. And when that happens, we can start to create disruption patterns through, or we can make things take longer to manifest in our experience. So this is another pattern that I'm experiencing, that I had been experiencing, that I am now coming out of. So that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I know that the collective that I'm talking to, you are probably experiencing this right now if you found this video. Now, part of a full surrender to Creator and to divinity, higher power of your own understanding. If you've been here before, you know that when I say Creator, God, Spirit, any name, Allah, I mean the one Creator, the love that we came from. Now, when you surrender to Creator, part of that is the release of a need for external validation. So you can still have lingering little patterns, but for the most part, you get your validation from Creator. You get your validation from prayer, from your intuition, from your divine tools, whether that's Oracle, a spirit team, someone else connected that you trust. But typically you want to really get self-reliant. Not in the sense that you don't have community and you don't have family and you don't have friends. No. I do believe light workers should link and be sharing their gifts with each other and helping one another. Releasing. You basically get a majority, if not all, of your validation from Creator. Now, as that continues to also progress, you will notice little patterns. So for instance, in myself, I've been noticing I've been comparing myself to others, comparing myself to their age, their journey, and I can't. Everything in my experience has shown me that I cannot just walk the straight path. I do not, I have to go my own way. I have to trust my own process, that nothing has been a straight path forward, because I am meant to shake up the matrix. I am meant to forge a path and be a frequency builder, a frequency layer. And you are as well if you found this video. So I had to stop the pattern of comparing myself to other people. Now, the other thing that happens is when you are in a divine way of being and living, you start to put the mind in its proper place, the ego, our operating system, you start to surrender it to the soul. And so you still think, you still use structure, but it's divinely guided. It comes from a completely different place than trying to hold everything in your mind and trying to regurgitate it and remember it and create and build your own structures and just struggle with that labyrinth. It becomes a free flow thinking. When they say connected to the cosmic heart or connected to the cosmic mind, you are connected to the realms of creation, and that stuff is just coming down and it's coming through you, and then you are tapped into the well of where everything comes from. So you can describe it, you can link to it, even if it's not for you, you can talk to other people about it. This is why meditation is so important. Now there's different types of meditation, and you could do walking meditation, it could be art, there's different forms of meditation, but find your meditation and keep connecting to Creator. What makes you feel the most alive? What makes you feel the most yourself? And what makes you feel the most connected to the divine higher power? That is a part of meditation. And then you want to ask for answers, and then you want to surrender to the answer and allow it to come through. And now sometimes that can look like or feel like Creator or the universe stripping things from you, things that your ego thinks that it wants. And so sometimes that can feel painful, but on the other side of it, you end up seeing that those things were never for you, and that rejection is protection. I'm sure we've all heard that. But those things were never for you, and that you actually truly didn't want them, and that Creator knew you better than you knew yourself, because the things that were replaced with that, because anything that is taken from you is replaced, were even better before. And sometimes we're even resistant to our prayers being answered because we're so comfortable and complacent in what we have in front of us that we don't want to let it go. Okay, so that is such an important process to surrender to and to understand. And that was something I was easily committed to. I was easily committed to that discipline of like, okay, I don't want to let this go. I feel like, oh my gosh, this is all I really have right now. But Creator's telling me, and I could feel that inside of me. So I wasn't going to argue with it, and I just kept doing it. And it has never steered me wrong. It has only made my life better. So if you're struggling with that process right now, this is your sign to surrender and let it go. Now, I'll use women as an example because I'm living as a divine feminine and I deal a lot with women. I deal a lot with women in my coaching, as friends, in networks, in business relations, and I love women. But no one's better than anyone else, and it's the frequency that you align with. But right now I am activating the divine frequency on this planet. I am living as a divine feminine. I am pulling feminine energy through me. I am resourcing with other feminines. I am helping other feminines to wake up back to their own power, because what's going to happen when we come back to our own power is we're going to not need fertility drugs. We're going to know how to stimulate all kinds of creational energy from our womb, because our womb isn't just for having babies, which we're going to get into too. Physical babies, it's for birthing all things. It's creative energy and life force that wakes up everything on the planet. Everything. It wakes up cold hearts. It wakes up broken hearts. It heals wounds. It purifies Gaia. And the thing is, we all have masculine, divine feminine frequencies within us, but they've been so convoluted on this planet, and they have been so corrupted, and they've been so interfered with right now that we are going through this massive purging and chaos and restoration of what is divine masculine and divine feminine. And that's why there's all this gender things going on. And all of that is part of this plan. And it is part of the divinity, and it all has a purpose, and it is all necessary. So I respect it all. Now, the reason I bring this up is because you will hear stuff about the Matrix program and how it has kind of corrupted the feminine from wanting to be mothers. You'll hear about a lot of single women not having children, being single, hyper independence, all of that. Now, it is parts Matrix corruption, and it is part of this unraveling that I just talked about in the efforts to come back to a true definition of divine masculine and divine feminine as Creator made it, and Creator's the origin point. And it also brings us back to the true definition of unconditional love. Now, for me personally, I have accepted that I always wanted children. I always wanted children and family. That was actually one of my biggest desires. And it was one of the things that pushed me onto the spiritual path. And I reached for love, and it didn't work out. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice my relationship with Creator after all the beauty Creator had brought into my life and with spirituality to be in something that was subpar, that didn't even meet me at my level and then elevate it, let alone elevate it, right? And let alone take me higher and deeper. And so again, that just also means it wasn't right. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone's path. I'm just giving a different perspective. And in this activation, this frequency, it's going to unlock things inside of you that you need. Now, I've had women compare themselves to me too, and they'll be like, oh, you don't have children, oh, like they're sad for me. It's like, but you don't even know me, you haven't even asked me what I wanted yet. Just because I have different dreams doesn't mean that I didn't want that, but it also doesn't mean that I was going to collapse my life into depression because I didn't get that. Because I'm a highly passionate person, and if you are a starseed, earth angel, activated divine feminine, you are as well. And this is why it's hard to even just pick one line of things, because all of the creative avenues are flowing and you can just follow so many passions, and there's so much to explore in life that I'm actually like at this point where I'm like, okay, girl, you like too many things. We need to pare it down a little bit and appreciate it through other people. We don't have to do it all. Nothing wrong with that. I used my acceptance of like wanting children, and that I will hold that desire, and I will believe that whatever happens is right for me, because I also see now that having children, having more souls come through me as that gateway would have tethered me to Gaia for longer. And I want to take a break from Earth. I'm on an ascension path. And I'm not saying everyone on an ascension path isn't going to have children. Everyone on an ascension path should be single and celibate. You have to decide within your own soul group of understanding your own soul contracts, within your own soul purpose, what is right for you within your frequency, within your body, within your health. You have to decide those things on your own. And I'm not saying I'm not open to a relationship or to having a family, or that I wouldn't allow those things to come through me if Creator bless me with it. But it has to be the right fit and the right partner. I'm not going to just pair with somebody because I feel I have a pocket of loneliness. I'm not going to just pair with somebody because that's not the right fit, because I'm desperate. Because I'm not desperate. I want the right fit. I want someone who shows up for me as much as I show up for them, who is capable and responsible and kind and loving and clear and communicative, and is in his divine masculine, a provider and a protector, and is kind, gentle, strong, all of the things that a divine masculine is, which we're going to do another video on. But instead of letting specifically the desire as a feminine and not having children to be a depressor, I used that energy and I channeled it into my work, into my business with people. I used all the challenges that I had and that love of that mothering energy that we have inside of us, and I channeled it into the people who had trauma that Creator brought to me through my healing work. I channeled it into I did a divine flow today, so I just want to look at it. Instead of letting it debilitate me and judging myself from society's standards, I partnered with Creator to explore all of my inner depths, to access my soul purpose, to focus on my passions, and to just really immerse myself in school, education of all kinds, from the divine and dream states and astro states, from Akashic records, all the way into patriarchal. I've taken courses my whole life. And even then, I was always really disciplined. I was almost obsessive, which makes you an expert in things. And I always could master things really quickly and really easily because I always set them up in my own way, whether I needed recordings or anything like that. I used my divinity to understand myself and my channels and how I learned best to accelerate the learning of things. And I was always on a constant path of growth. And if you're a divine feminine, you're going to resonate with this. And what I just kept doing was I kept transmuting any pockets of loneliness, any pockets of pain at not having what I thought I wanted, into something else that I loved, into building something else that I created. And also, when you find purpose, when you give back to the world and to the earth in this energetic reciprocity in a way that actually helps other people's lives, and in a way that you're actually meant to, that connects to your soul contracts, to your soul purpose, it creates this feedback loop of nourishment that you will be satiated, right? And then it keeps building on all those things. And the more that you can clean out from your family and ancestral bloodline, the purity within your body, the purity within your emotions, your food, the way you care for yourself, you end up getting more and more nourished, and life becomes more and more fulfilling. And so then the desires that you think you wanted that you didn't have, they end up, even if they're still there, they're not painful. They're not painful anymore. They are always replaced. The universe always trades up. It's another one of my favorite things. I think that was by Danielle Laporte. And then also, okay, so when you pair to divinity, right, you're connected to those realms of creation, and you can really become an expert in so many things. And so people often say to me, like, I don't know how you have so much energy. Okay, well, first of all, I don't need validation from other people. So I'm not constantly projecting to something that I'm not. I'm not saying something to react. I'm not saying something to get a response out of someone or to siphon off them or energy vampire off them. I am constantly pulling my own power back and not allowing other people to do that to me. Then also I'm not putting on any kind of pretense. So I get to keep all of my chi energy and my prana energy because I'm not using it and wasting it to pretend to be something that I'm not. I'm very genuine, and I'm the same when I'm not on this camera. I'm the same when no one can see me. I'm the same when no one's looking because I don't need anything else's validation. I live from a universal set of principles and divinity and a universal set of integrity standards that just keep me on track. So I don't need all of the dogma and religion and stuff, although like I do enjoy it. Anything that connects me to creator and love. I love the word of God in many different forms, or the experience of God in many different forms. So God, creator. So it is this really beautiful feedback loop that I really hope that you understand what I'm talking about, and I hope that you get to experience because it is so nourishing. The other thing about this is a lot of people that say this to me, oh, I don't know how you have so much energy. They're also eating the poison foods that society gives them. They're not sourcing. So if you've worked with me or you've followed my channel for a while, you'll know that I talk about divine rooting, where you plug into your soul star and you plug into your earth star below your feet, and then it creates sovereignty in your field, and it helps you to access all of your spiritual tech, your tools, your gifts, and as an empath, it gives you spiritual sanctuary within your own frequency and within your own, it's like energy boundaries within your own field. So you can still read information that you need from your environment and from other people, but you don't take something on as if it's yours when it's not. And so you're not carrying too heavy of a load from the things around you because the world is in chaos and it is in need of healing. And as an empath, you can take on too much because there's so much going around. So it's really good to have those energy boundaries so you know what's yours and what's not. And so that you can't, you know, when they say like, or like if someone was drowning, you don't want to drown yourself too. You have to make sure you're strong enough and stable enough to be able to save them, right? So it's kind of like that. You're making sure that your own cup is full. You're making sure that your own energy is clean and strong, and the stronger you are, the more you can carry, the more you can give, the more overflow that you have. Okay, and then yeah, just being plugged into source, it first of all is accessing so much energetics, and then you can use quantum energetics for cellular restoration, and those are Atlantean and Lemurian techniques, which is I'm a high priestess of Atlantis and Lemuria and other ancient societies, but let's just, those are so two of the main ones, and so I've been able to access these traditional ways of being from these ancient societies that I've always had. And then I use theta healing. I've taken levels of pranic healing. I have friends who do Reiki on me. I don't do Reiki. And then I have my oracles, I have my divine tools, and I channel energy in from those realms as well, because those are usable energy that we are supposed to be acting from and accessing instead of siphoning off one another. The other thing about that is like, I don't know how you have so much energy. Well, eating cellular foods is one of them, but I didn't have children. I didn't have children yet. So the parents that say this to me, look at all that you're doing. It's amazing. Like, oh my goodness, raising children, raising other humans, being responsible for other humans in this society and culture right now with all of this evolutionary growth going on and for our collective, like holy, like hats off to you, because like I coach a lot of parents with starseed children. It is a hard job right now. And that energy, again, instead of channeling it into depression and looking at lack, I channeled it into what I wanted to experience and learn. And because I didn't have other humans to be responsible for in my general vicinity, every day I could pick my time. I could pick my schooling. I could pick my structure. I go hard in everything I do. Almost to the point now where I have to bring in more play because I go so hard in things that, and for years and for decades now, that I will just engross myself into it, soak it up until I'm an expert, like I said, in every capacity though, energy wise, emotion wise, mental wise, and then physically. if I need to. And then I'm really good at consistency. So I integrate in a layer, and then I keep doing that layer, and then I'll learn something else to integrate the other layer, and then I'll merge them all and keep doing that. And I've done that with everything, with my health, my herbs, my fitness, and my schooling. And then the layers of different things that I've done, like personal training. I worked in finance, I worked in fitness, but then I brought that into death douling, birth douling, and then I do a lot of womb reparation work with women in sexual healing traumas. I do a lot of traumatic cellular repair. I do Akashic records keeping. Now, lots of this stuff too, I didn't have to hold it in my physical brain either, because I couldn't connect to Creator. There were other lives that I trained in these things with, and I was able to bring them through my vessel into the now, into my conscious experience. And so some of that integrated because I worked on it so hard in other lives. I was able to use that and working smarter, not harder. And this is where quantum energetics, again, will balance out your life so much and bring so much richness to it and so much help. And this is why you want to have a spiritual practice on top of what you're doing. This is why I offer consciousness-based wellness programs, because you're working on the spiritual layers first. We're determining all the spiritual, and we're pulling them through to the physical layers to create the best foundation of living that you can have in whatever you're choosing to do. And it doesn't have to be spiritual vocation either. It could be going into finance or real estate, because Creator needs spiritual people in these mundane matrix structures as well. Well, often we have a spiritual awakening. It's so beautiful. We miss those spiritual realms, and they're so enticing that we automatically think we need to go into like spiritual vocations. And I'm not saying that's wrong either, but we also need to bring the light to the dark places and pull down the other structures as well, or even just represent in those structures to take back the corruption, right? The session and study, and then I have the skill to apply it. So I'll keep obsessively studying it and applying it, and then once that layer is mastered, then I might go into a new layer, and then I'll master that again while still practicing the other layer. And then over time it becomes an expertise, because I'm adding layers, but I'm constantly practicing the layers and integrating the layers, and so it becomes an expertise because I'm always doing it. And then decades, slowly but surely, and then decades come. I've been doing this for 3 decades now at least. If not, I was doing it unconsciously when I was younger. Just keep layering it, and then now it becomes an expertise. It becomes a mastery. It's like easy. So much also in my life, people are like, oh, I don't know how you get so much done. I don't know how you do this. Some of it doesn't even feel like work. It's so integrated into my lifestyle that it does not feel like work. I like herbs, eating herbs for when I'm ill. I have natural first aid kits set up in my home now because of just learning about herbs and then integrating different pieces and replacing Advil, Tylenol, that kind of stuff with herbs. So now my whole house is filled with a natural, medicinal, herbal, first aid kind of medicine cabinet. And I don't need the toxins or anything because I have solutions for the other things. And it was easy to set up, and it's all accessible to me, or it's easy for me to refill it. And so I don't even need to reach for the easy, toxic, poisonous stuff that they have given us. I also have more energy because I'm not filling my cells with poison and toxins, so they're turning over properly, and the self-healing capacities within my body are naturally active, and the detox processes are naturally active because I'm not overloading my organs with more toxins and chemicals from these medicines that were supposed to help us become better, but they just mask symptoms and overload and deteriorate the cells of your organs. And so your metabolic processes start to disengage with these things as well. And if you can hit it, like if you can eat really healthy and nutritiously, and then also create, if there's illness or things that happen in the body, and you can meet them with energetics and herbs and natural ways of doing that, eventually your immune system keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and your cells get stronger and stronger, and every time you're sick, it's actually a strengthening as opposed to a depletion. Creator has brought me into, like I said, Creator brings me to bring light into the dark places, or just even to say it differently, I have a frequency cultivated in the way that I'm being, in the way I treat my body, the things I choose to put in my body. Whether or not people are awake or aware, that frequency still speaks to them. Everything is energy, is information, motion. And whether they're aware of it or not, or they choose to believe it or not, doesn't matter. The truth is the truth is truth. And it comes out of your frequency, and it comes out of your being in your vessel in all ways. And all of those little tiny choices that you make in how you treat yourself, and how you choose to be, and what you choose to believe or align with, comes out of your frequency. Your energy speaks louder than anything else you could do. Okay. Now, I have been blessed to work in yoga, in fitness. I teach Kriya and Asana. I mostly integrate it into my quantum energetic healing practice, and I use it as medicinal tools for people, or balancing tools. But in that, it has birthed into healing trauma, cellular repair. But in the physical 3D world, I was also a personal trainer for athletes, all the way to just regular general public, into those who are in injury or athletic injury, finance, mail, what else? Just toxic blue collar work structures or warehouse structures, all kinds of different retail structures. I think I said mail, oil and gas, finance, and all of that was helping me balance out karma. It was also helping me balance out and confront any kind of karmic rifts between souls that we still had things to repair. It also helped me just heal many, many family generational patterns. Then addictions. I have had so many addictions, just like everybody has addictions. We can have addictions to behavioral patterns. One of the biggest addictions in society right now is to self-loathing, self-abuse, self-abandonment, hatred of ourselves, so self-loathing. Pain addiction is huge on this planet. Sex, and then that's usually tied into sex addiction, but sex addiction is huge. Pornography, some of that came out in substances. I actually hated any kind of drugs and substance for so long when I was younger, because I just really could see the patterns, that it had really broken down my family line, and I didn't like what it had done. I watched it take my father, and I didn't like any of that, and I could see where society was playing a role in all of this, and ego patterns. But I then did end up self-medicating in it for quite a while, because just it was always around me, and it was just like so socially acceptable where I grew up. And it was very eye-opening, because so many people struggle with substance now, including alcohol, of course, and sugar is even one, that it helps me now in my practice, because I can really understand and relate to where people are coming through. But I've been sober for like, good grief, I don't even know, almost 30 years for sure. I barely even drink alcohol now. I think I went through like a good decade where I didn't even drink alcohol, and now I'll drink it once in a while in a celebrationatory sense. I still pray over it though, and I really don't like it. I don't need it. Meditation and connecting to divinity gave me everything else that I need, so I just really don't even need that. Pleasing was an addiction, attacking myself and others, especially the feminine. Like I was attacking the feminine within me, so I was attacking the feminine outside of me. And now that that's switched, now that I'm embracing the feminine within me and cultivating a strong feminine frequency, and then trying to bring back the actual true sovereignty of feminine nature and create those communities and relationships with other women that are not allowing that frequency to come through them and are denying themselves and are people pleasing, they get so triggered by me. They have the most problem with me, and truly I cannot tolerate them in my inner circle. And that is a judgment thing. It's about like, I cannot be with anything I'm not aligned with. It's a frequency thing. I love everything. I love everything, and I want to accept everything. That's probably like a weak spot I would have. But even then, Creator makes that a strength. But I just can't, like, anything that does not align with frequency just doesn't feel right. I just have to move away from it. Like, I wish you peace, I wish you love, I wish you the best, but I move. Just keep going like water. From my past lives, I had hatred for humanity. I've been here on this planet for a very long time. I remember all my past lives now as a Akashic record keeper in chronological order, I will say. And I had some stuff to get through in the family generational lines and some. And so the people that have found this video, you're going to relate to this. You have, right, not even know it conscious. This is why I really do recommend Akashic reading sessions. If you ever want a session with me, my links are all down in the bio. But anyway, I had a hatred for humanity. I really did. I had a hatred for humanity. They burned me. They have tortured me. They have betrayed me beyond words, beyond reason. I have been lives where I was pregnant, and in the name of medical that is now running this planet, they cut my baby out of my tummy. Like, probably another reason why I didn't have children, like an inclination to actually physically want to have children in this life. My heart always wanted children, but I didn't physically want to birth them or be pregnant again. That's how I always felt, even before I truly became conscious of all of this or believed in it, I guess would be another way of saying it. I had a general distrust of humans and many of you might feel like that. I've heard so many of my clients say, like, I prefer animals over humans, right? Anger and distrust at men, because a lot of that harm was done by men, and a lot of the harm I seen in society was done by men, and I had this really big blame for men for a long time, but then as I started remembering our history and what we've actually gone through, women have also abdicated our power, and we've abdicated a big part of that power. It was, we can wake people up, we can wake up their hearts, and we can remind them to feel and include life into the ways of being and practicing. So we are contributors to that. I will not just blame men for that. And I have a new understanding of men, and I actually love them, but we also need to be able to identify good and safe humans versus wounded ones, girls and guys, whatever you identify with there. But there is a pattern in wounded boys, and there's a pattern in wounded women. I just don't have time for it in my life. Like, I'll pray for you, I'll help you, I'll take you as clients if you're really serious about making changes, but there's different layers and levels when I can tell that someone isn't ready to change, that maybe it's their first inclinations to it, but they haven't actually put any work to get there. And so there's just different ways of being. And often also when we're around people that are wounded, we can't just allow them to do whatever that they want, because they can bring us down with the ship, right? And so you really need to let them be in their own process with their own guides and angels and their own life path to figure that out in some ways. But also, I believe if you're on their path, there is ways to there's reasons for that, and ways to bring in divine justice or divine healing for them as well. Things that cross our path that don't align with our frequency, we are definitely meant to pray on them. We are definitely meant to pray for them and on them, and help them to as much as we can without detrimenting our own lives and our own selves. I do believe that, and I do live that. But yeah, I feel like the last thing I'll say about the wounded stuff too is, like, by you being who you are and giving yourself permission to be in your truth and to be in your frequency, so many benefits come from that. First of all, you don't need the validation from the outside world. Second of all, you end up just not being scared anymore. Like, you're scared, but you will always just, Creator will provide a solution, or your divine team, your spirit team, your angels will provide a solution, or you will educate yourself out of that. So, you know, say you're scared of being alone, you have to go to work in a more tougher area, you go take a self-defense course. You know, you make sure you bring Archangel Michael with you. Like, there's just different ways to hit safety at all kinds of different layers and aspects, and you can align so much of your gifts in that, and so much of your purpose, and just everything becomes a path to step up. And then once you master that fear and you're no longer afraid of it, it no longer shows up in your life. Or you can, even with more conviction, put your foot down and say, like, I am no longer willing to tolerate that kind of relationship. I am no longer willing to tolerate that kind of dynamic. I am done with that. And just saying that with conviction and love and being like, no more, will also take it out of your life, which is really beautiful. And then just embracing who you are and your gifts. Like I said, it keeps all your chi energy in your body, so you end up having more energy for cellular turnover. It makes you more youthful, it makes you stronger, it makes you more focused, more concentrated, and then you really do start to know, what am I going to spend my time and my energy on, because it is like a currency, and you're not going to let people waste your time and energy, but you'll still bring some sort of benefit to them, because that's also part of the divine guidance that comes through. You know, I'm really thankful for my time that has been, some people who would call it maybe spiritual isolation. Like, I have a huge network of thousands of people all over the world, but I'm really just starting to get tapped into physical community that is in the same city as me, where I can go out and do the things I love, like moon ceremonies and spiritual things with actual friends here without having to travel, which I don't mind that. But I'm really grateful for that. And I know that there's women that would look at me and say, like, oh, you know, the Matrix convinced you not to have babies, and you really just missed out on so much pieces of life. And being a mother is so beautiful. I have seen it through my friends, and I love what they've taught me and what I've seen, and I've been a mother in other lives. I know that I've already experienced that, and that just, my chapters are not over yet, so maybe that's something that I will experience later. But at this point in my life, I was on a solo journey to meet my own soul and to heal so many things in my bloodline, and that in itself was such a gift. All the things that I overcame and all the ways that I have crafted myself with Creator into this beautiful this beautiful expression of life is really paying off now. And I don't think that I would have given that up, because the relationship that I have to my soul and to Creator has brought such a richness and depth into my experience that is like a spiritual nourishment that other people are starving for. And the other thing about this is like the people that I've helped. That has been so fulfilling for me to know that there are people suffering on this planet, and I was actually given the tools and the resources as a bridge to help them. And that is something you can't put into words, and you cannot take back. And so the nourishment came in another way. Whenever you allow it, the universe will fulfill you and give you what you need. So I think that's a lot for today. Let me know how you liked this video. I hope it helped. I have some channels coming through me on this 1-1 portal, so I just wanted to touch on them and just kind of get them out there and see who I connect with and see who these messages are meant for. I will actually leave it with, I did pull some cards today, and some of the cards that I pulled was Sacred Space, Focus Intention, Mother Earth, Fertility, Home, Compassion, Expect a Miracle. So maybe some of those energies or frequencies are going to speak to you. Those connections to Nematoma, Diana of Greece, Maui, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Vesta, Ostera, right? And honestly, we're on the heels of True Spring, and Symbolic is coming in February here. So all of those frequencies of fertility and just what is birthing through right now is just so beautiful. And just the other ones where it's time to release negativity. Emotions are running high. There's a lot of change rippling through the planet right now. A heaviness has been lifted lately. You are good enough. Communication is key. Don't let the past hold you back. Bring love into the situation. Balance spirituality and practicality, and show the world the real you. And I feel like that all ties into this message today. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this found you in whatever manner that you need. Keep going. Don't give up. Purify your vessel, purify your body, purify your relationship to Creator. You know, really just start to embrace who you are, embrace your soul, embrace your divinity, listen to your inner voice, stop intuitional overriding, and just keep, you know, piece by piece, step by step, treating your body better, treating your body as a temple, fixing your health, fixing your mindset. Like, don't think you can just focus on your physical health and not address your emotions and your mindset. But the thing is that people are doing is, you are not the purifier. Creator and divinity is a purifier. The Holy Spirit is a purifier. You don't need to come there purified. You just need to show up to the energetics, because the energetics, the mind is a labyrinth. If you try to go unravel things through your own mind, it's going to take a long time. Whereas you could integrate, you could do that still, but integrate the energetics, and things that would take decades or years is going to take days, weeks, months. We have that coming through the planet right now. There's an evolution, and there is a call to embrace our gifts and our spiritual tech. So keep going. Don't give up. Partner with Creator. If things feel like they're being stripped away from you right now, it is for your highest good, and it will be replaced with something even better. I promise you. Okay? I love you. I'm gonna put this message before, but needed to get out today, and I'll see you on the next one.